God, guys. This is barbacoa. Traditionally in Mexico, they make it in a hole in the ground and it's made out of borrego. What's borrego?
Es como cabrito? Sheep?
Sheep.
Yeah.
There you go. So how you serve it is you have tortillas. And this time we're going to use flour tortillas.
So did you put this in the ground?
This one, they put it in the ground. No,
Yeah,
this
baby.
one, it's not even borrego. This is beef.
Oh.
So we're gonna cheat in the United States.
Yes.
We're cheating.
Yes.
What we're doing is you get that awesome crock pot that takes forever.
This is not from the ground.
Yeah.
This is not for the ground. This is for the crock pot. This is a crock pot
Yes.
and
She put
beef.
a little dirt to pretend.
Beef. Yes.
Just to
So you make your nice taco. Look at that gorgeousness. And then you get the pico de gallo
You gotta color it.
and you color it on top. Look at that. And if you like more lime, then you squeeze a little bit lime on top of it. That's your choice. And this is barbacoa.
This looks
Yeah,
delicious.
some people like it stuff like the pico de
my
gallo
God.
very spicy.
I don't.
That's amazing.
I didn't put any spicy.
Okay, guys, so what I made for everybody today is arroz con gandules, which is a very traditional Puerto Rican dish. We eat it all the time, but specifically more in Christmas with pernil, which is pork. And so it's rice, and we like to use medium grain rice, but I don't know why. So mostly traditionally medium grain rice. It has gandules, I believe, are pigeon peas. Are they pigeon peas?
Something like that.
And so it has obviously a lot of spices in it, tomato sauce, garlic. The base of a lot of the things that we do in Puerto Rico is with sofrito. So that, I mean, actually, right here. I'm lucky because my mom makes mine and I don't have to buy the garbage at the HEB.
Yes.
So this has
Homemade.
onion and garlic and ají dulce, which is like a sweeter pepper, and all kinds of different things in it. And so that gets in there. You heat it up with oil and everything.
I
and
gotta
then you do
smell
it.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
love
amazing.
this stuff. This homemade stuff.
So the
You
rice,
gotta go to open it.
you got it has oil on it. That's what it is. Oh,
There
we
we go.
Y'all
There
use
you
it that much, huh?
We actually do, yes. So let me serve you guys some.
It is so yummy.
Obviously, we
Puerto
use,
Rico.
like sazon and
So let me ask you, when you guys make this,
Pretty
do
good.
you put the beans with the arroz and you cook it at the same time? Or
Yes.
do you cook anything separate?
so usually you'll do the sofrito with the oil and like the tomato sauce and all that initially, like all the flavors are in there initially. And then after that, and also like we put pieces of like cooking ham.
I
What
was
is that
about
called?
to
Like
say it.
ham fillets.
Yeah.
Which obviously gives it. And then there's a little secret in there that I promised my mom I wasn't gonna tell
Is
anybody.
this your mom's recipe then?
It is. Yeah,
Really?
there's
Secrets,
See
huh?
if you can figure it out. If you can figure it out on your own, then that's
Okay.
just the way it's gonna be. Everybody
gonna-
have some.
It looks
Do
a
you have
little bit
plate?
like paella, right?
Yes. So it's
It's like the
yeah.
look of the paella.
Yeah.
They make paella
And
with a lot of
so,
bunch of
really,
stuff.
you eat it with like, maybe a protein, since it's but it has its own protein in there because the
it's so good.
gandules have a lot of iron and stuff in it, which are good for you. And then it has the jamon.
Now you've sparked my
Ham.
curiosity. What's the secret ingredient?
Is it yours?
Well, you can have that one. I just kept your part of the.
Well, thank you.
And then
Con
you
bolillito.
put the pimiento morrón. It
It's
has
Good.
so good.
Yes.
the
Very good.
olives, green olives always go in there. The bay leaves, which if you're ever eating this and you don't know and you stumble upon a leaf, then that's what that is.
That's what that is.
I can't figure out what it is. It's just full of so much flavor.
I know.
It is.
It's so
That's
So yeah,
wrong.
this is
That's
very.
wrong to tease.
As Puerto Ricans, you've got to eat rice because
Oh, of
that's just a
course.
staple. And I think there's a lot of other Hispanic countries that do it that way.
For sure.
It's so good.
I think we were talking earlier that normally we don't do spicy stuff, but some Puerto Ricans like to eat spicy, and they will make their own jazzy, snazzy pico picante sauce. So this one has like pineapple juice and oil and different spices, and then you would use the ají picante instead of the ají
Agridulce.
So is that like a sweeter hot sauce because of the pineapple?
Yeah, I don't really
That
eat
looks
that
like-
much as I don't like.
That looks like
We're not
a
trying
bread.
that one
Heard of
because I
that.
can't vouch for it, so I'm not even gonna put it out
This
there.
is
But that's what it looks like.
Very good, Andrew.
I'm glad you guys like it.
Your mom has a good recipe.
She does, and she's apparently not giving it away. so.
All right, so I made picadillo de chayote con carne molida. It is a Costa Rican dish that's very common. Picadillos are very common in Costa Rica. You see all different kind. One of our favorites is obviously this one, but we also have one that's made with sausage and potatoes. You can also make some with some plátano, some plantains, some green plantains. So there's an array of picadillos you can make. We really like this one. It's really light and it's very delicious, as you'll come to find out. So let me go ahead and tap it. So it has a little bit of corn in there. It's like a stew. And the typical way to eat it is with some white rice. It can be jasmine rice, long grain, whatever you prefer. And then you just pour it on top of your white rice, let it soak all of that jugo, all that juice. And if you like spicy like my dad, you put some Tabasco or whatever you want on top. But it's really delicious. And I hope you guys like it.
It looks colorful.
Yes.
It looks great.
Do you guys use chayote? Not really. We do a lot too.
Yeah.
In our dishes, a lot of different roots that normally I guess you don't find as much here. But chayote is one of our favorites.
Yes.
And the picadillo with plátanos, I've never tried that. That's
Oh,
amazing.
it's so good. So good.
We use chayotes too.
Yes.
Yeah, Mexico. they use
How
a
do
lot
you
of
guys
chayote.
do it?
Oh, that looks good.
Boil it.
Well, you know the caldos, a lot of the caldos that they make with the meat, they have chayote.
Chayote.
in there.
Of
This
the
is-
caldos?
Even
Instead of like
the
potatoes.
caldos, with the potatoes.
Oh.
In
Like
addition
caldo de
to,
res.
It's very common to eat this like with plátano maduro, with some tortilla. So there's a lot of little side dishes.
That's the only thing
Mine
we're
still has
missing
some
is
stuff on
plátano.
it.
Yes, I
Well,
love
yeah,
plátano.
We're gonna have to
Right.
do it again tomorrow.
So good.
It's amazing.
I'm gonna dive in.
Yes. Do you guys use a lot of plátanos?
We do patacones, which I know some people say
Oh my goodness.
Tostones,
tostones. Yeah, we say patacones.
And you say patacones.
Tostones.
Oh, no. Yes.
We have several, depending on what it is, we make different versions of things with plátano.
I love
Oh
that.
my goodness, this is,
Right.
there's like a sweet and there's just all these different flavors.
So it's made with, so the base of it is called salsa lisano, and it's a unique sauce to Costa Rica. You can find it in Fiesta here, which is so nice. But the base is made with that salsa lisano. So it's similar kind of to like a Worcestershire sauce. Probably mispronouncing that. But obviously a little different. But you find that all over Costa Rica.
I'm picking up like the tangy and sweet.
Yeah.
So it's very, very, I've never had this before.
Are these red
have a-
peppers?
Yes, chile dulce.
This
Yes.
is amazing.
Red bell peppers. So bell peppers are very common in a lot of the Costa Rican dishes too. So like onion, cilantro, bell pepper.
My Costa Rican friends are in trouble right now.
Oh my
I've
God.
literally never tried this. Okay, so what I made is it's actually mi abuela's Colombian empanadas. And so the reason it is super unique, so, I'm sure you guys have seen all the Colombian restaurants, here in town. These are not like those at all. My mom is from a place called, or my whole family is from a place called Barranquilla, Colombia. So it's on the coast. And it's different. The dough that we use, the harina is completely different. The inside, so a lot of times you'll see empanadas that are, here, give me your plate, I'll start serving. They're made out of pollo, chicken, and these are actually made out of, it's ground beef. And so it's got a lot of flavor. There's vegetables in there. I think a lot of people make empanadas with, they put pieces of potato.
Yes.
I don't do that.
Okay.
So there's no potato in here.
the meat.
It's just more meat,
Yes.
some vegetables. And then this is ají. This is a Colombian, I guess you can call it salsa. And the base of it is actually, it's primarily green onions, There's obviously, you gotta have the cilantro. That's in there. And there is vinegar. So it just kind of soaks in vinegar. Oh, let me give you some of this. What else? Garlic.
You have to have that.
And we don't actually eat very spicy, but I did put jalapeno, so I try to keep it somewhat mild.
I think this one's for Art. This
We
is
get
mine.
up, huh?
Okay.
It's so like the aromas just hit you.
Yes. And the ají, you either like it or you don't. Not everybody likes it.
You're
but
right. This is not like the stuff that we eat at the restaurant.
It's nothing like
Nothing
it.
like
It's. I mean, you've probably never had a empanada like this, just because it's very unique, and it's very specific to Barranquilla, Colombia. So, I think a lot of the other empanadas are like from parts of Colombia, like up in the mountains or like where the capital is.
Different.
It's so different. This is more tropical because of where my mom's from.
It's funny how many, every country has their own little style of empanadas, right?
Yeah.
And even like in Mexico, every region has a different.
Yes.
Well, I think there's some people that call empanadas, but it's a dessert.
Yes.
Yeah, it could
something
be a
else.
dessert too.
Yeah.
Depending how you make it.
So,
It's good too.
yeah. So these are made out of carne. The other kind that we like to make is, which I made some as well, and it's just cheese. So you can put, I use mozzarella cheese, or you can use like Monterey Jack cheese. They melt really good. And so the harina is really unique. So can y'all pick up on any flavors?
Why? It's a little sweet.
It's a little bit sweet.
Yeah.
There's something else in it. I try not to put too much because it can be a turn off
In
for some
here
people.
or in there?
In the mouth.
In the masa.
Hold on.
I know.
It's a little bit sweet. And there is anise. You can't put too much of it, obviously,
get
because
it.
it's super, it'll be
Like
very
overpowering.
overpowering. So there's a little bit of a touch of anise.
Yes, it is.
So I grind it up, try to make it into a little bit of a powder so it's not, you don't have too many hard pieces.
Yes.
You mix it in there.
So good.
So good.
So the inside is like a picadillo.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty
Little
much.
picadillo.
And is the it's ani?
Ají.
Ají. Okay. And is it similar to like a chimichurri?
I guess you could possibly. So there's cilantro, green onions, garlic. The main juice of it is obviously vinegar. There's a little bit of water, to mix it all up a little bit. You can put a little touch, like very, very little sugar, just to kind of balance out the vinegar and the salt and all of that. But the main ingredient is going to be green onions and cilantro.
It
Equal
adds
parts of
such
both.
a
Yes.
freshness to
Yeah.
it. And it's so good.
It's really
And it was made fresh today, might I say.
Yeah. And I think for those of us that either really, if you didn't grow up there, or for me, like now I'm here and I used to live there, like it's just one of those things that ties me back to where I'm from and keeps me, I guess, grounded, or with the memories of that I do have this other heritage, that I am, bringing something different to my children and to this home. So I think it definitely brings you back, those of us that, are farther than we wish we were.
Your relationships, like you were describing, you learned it from your grandma. She was teaching you exactly how to do it. All that relationship that you're building while you're cooking.
Even if we were chewing you up. Hey, come on, get in there. Get what you can. But it's true, right? You remember that, and it brings you home.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like at home.
Right.
Well, you made a really good point, because like for me, I was not born in Colombia, in South America. I was born here in the United States. But it really connects me to, my heritage, my family, my roots, where my family story really started. And so I think for me though, when I think of food and like the recipes, there's a story to tell.
Yeah.
There's so many amazing stories, I think, linked to the recipes and the dishes that we cook. And that's amazing. It's amazing to think that and to realize that, and for us to embrace it. So
Besides, the stories also go hand in hand with the fact that we don't have recipes. I don't know if you guys yeah, and you're like, I have this, I have that. Like,
it's all about taste a little here.
And I think that very much is a part of that. That's
What
what
a
you
good
have to
point.
learn. You have to
You have to be there, right?
Like,
You have to be there.
it's a very personal thing. You can't just hand someone a recipe card.
Right.
It will never taste the same. It's something that you had to do with a person in relationship with them, and they were, you know, going hand in hand with you, showing you like, hey, more of this, like taste it, see what it needs. And I get to do that now with my daughter, like taste it and see what it needs, and she recognizes. So I think that's just part of it.
That's such a good point.
So my sister used to get upset at my mom because she always said, "Oh, just put it, just enough salt or whatever you think is enough for it." I said, "Well, you need to give me some measurements." But now she makes it the same way, right? She's like, "Well, I don't know how much it is, just whatever is enough."
Yeah.
Oh, it's a funny thing, but it brings back good memories.
Yes.
You can also see the creativity of God, because check out, all the dishes have cilantro, but it's so different in all of them.
Right.
So the same thing, but depending where you live, it's such a different application. And Mexico is such a big country that different states have very unique cuisine. It's so good. Yeah.
Good, dude.
I think
Bring
the
people
same.
together.
Yeah, the same goes for like what you're creating. So in Puerto Rico, the food is gonna have all the different kind of melting pot elements of the cultures and the people that were there. So we have, you know, mofongo, that's a very, you know, an African word for like an African dish, and, you know, Spanish stuff, and the roots that we got, like, you know, chayote and different things that are from the Native Americans, the Tainos that were there. So like all the different kind of races and representation are in the food that we eat too.
I think as different as every single dish is, one thing that they all have in common, and they're bursting with flavor.
Yeah.
We know how to cook with flavor.
No bland meal here.
No.
Not bland at all.
Yes.
Using the principle of how God would see us to be one, it's definitely possible. And we get to be blessed by the variety of just everything that we have to bring to the table. Not just food, but in our culture, in our history. You know?
I agree with that. I think that's what the kingdom of heaven will look like, right? Just one body. It's going to be the Latin culture, the African American culture, the white culture, and it goes on, right? Like that's the kingdom of heaven. It's going to be a variety of brothers and sisters as one body, which is beautiful.
We could all have looked the same, like, and the gospel of the Lord would have been the same, but he chose to make us so different, and he chose to do all these different things and colors and shapes and sizes, because he is a creative God, and he celebrates those differences while still preaching to us that we are all one body. Even though we have different functions and look different and all that, we still are the one body of Christ.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I think he has a sense of humor, because he created mandrills. You know, those are the monkeys with the pink spots? The God with a sense of humor.